Welcome back, guys. Day 20 of the Fit Chick Project. And today is for all you moms, all you soon-to-be moms, and all you wanna-be moms out there. Today, we are talking to multiple CrossFit Games athlete and mom of two, Tennil Reed. She's placed 11th, 6th, and 12th at the 2016 to 2018 CrossFit Games, and now has temporarily stepped away to do the one thing that she's always wanted to do, which is be a mom. I've competed with Tennil several times, and what I always admired most about her was her ability to balance family and sport so well. When she was on the competition floor, I remember her being a beast. She was primed and ready to claim what was hers. But off of the floor, she was a sweet Southern soul who you would have no idea that she was a top world athlete without her being in her gym clothes. I felt like she just knew how to turn on the switch and off the switch between being a total badass and snatching 200 pounds to your average girl next door that wants to eat cookies and watch movies all day. She took training super seriously, but she also took recovery and family just as seriously. And she was a master at setting boundaries to achieve these two things that were really most important to her, family and fitness. Today, we talk about what her transition has looked like from stepping away from the competition floor, and what it's been like for her to create a life dedicated to sport and going into pregnancy and life as a new mom. She's such an inspiration. I can't wait for you guys to dive in. Some of the best points of our discussion were: one, the best and worst part of being a pro athlete; number two, why she stepped away from competing in CrossFit and what's in store for her next; number three, how she went from training 8 hours a day to only doing yoga and walking; number four, what she struggles most with food; number five, how she unplugs from the gym life when she's with family; and number six, how she recommends people to look fit while creating that balance between family and fitness. So check out this video with Tennil, and then be sure to follow her new and exciting journey using the links below, and enjoy the show. All right, guys, welcome to the show. Today we have a really exciting guest. We have Tennil. I guess I'm used to you calling you Tennil Reed, but Tennil Berlin?
Berline.
Is that it? Berline. Okay. And I'm super excited to have her on here, just because, you know, she is a very, not a very, well, yeah, no, kind of a different path than me, because she's been managing like a family for, you know, a good amount of time. And I feel like she's always just been a really good representation of how to balance fitness and family time, and just trying to have a really good just kind of outlook on managing both worlds really well. And so I'm really excited to have you on, Tennil.
Thanks. I'm so excited to be on here too.
Awesome. All right, girls. So let's go ahead and just kind of get right into it. So kind of just tell us, what was like your top placement for the CrossFit Games? What was your like peak performance?
I got 6th in 2017. That was my best performance.
Okay, cool. And how long were you actually in that game, like as far as training for CrossFit Games?
Let's see. I did CrossFit hardcore for about 6-7 years. And that's from like the very first time I started CrossFit. I wasn't really competing. I mean, I was just doing like local stuff at the very beginning. And then I slowly built up and started competing at like regionals and stuff.
Okay. And so when you were like kind of doing like regionals, game stuff, what kind of training was that like? Like how many hours were you spending in the gym? Let's start there.
Well, it kind of moved a little bit throughout the year. So peaking up towards like the games time would be like 8 hours a day, probably. On like the off season, I would probably train more like 2 hours for 2 sessions.
Okay. Yeah. So
but leading up to
8 hours.
games, it would be like, it felt like it was like all day, really. It was it was like never ending, but it was like a slow build, so it never felt like holy crap, you know. It was just like that.
classic OPEX. Just, they got that stuff on point.
Oh man, they're good. They're
Yeah.
good. You don't even
Yeah.
realize you're peaking. You're peaking.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And what kind of, what is your like sort of diet require? Were you tracking macros? I'm assuming you were.
Yeah, I was tracking macros, but I would track every time he would like shift them. Every time we would like increase volume or decrease volume, he would shift them to change it to where I needed to be. And then I'd probably keep track of them for like a week. And then after that, I kind of knew like body adjusted to like that amount of food. And so I kind of knew when I was right on track. And I guess, and like I ate a lot of the same things.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew like maybe if we increase my macros, instead of like one sweet potato, I'd be eating like a potato and a half for a meal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I had measured it out previously, so I knew where I was at, and I could make it.
That's awesome. I do that now with my clients, but I did not think about doing that like, you know, when I was competing. It was always like it has to be, you know, I mean, it was just like, everything was so diehard. I think probably because I was hanging out with people that had to be within, like, they were within 5 grams, you know, and I'm like, wow. So I felt like, yeah.
No. Mine was definitely not like that. My coach was more like, he didn't want me to stress about that stuff. He's like, you need to worry about what's like most important.
Exactly.
Like, the only thing that's important is that you're getting enough food to support all the things we're doing.
Right. Right. So what do you feel like, what's the best part of your athletic career? Like, what would you say is the best thing that you enjoyed the most?
Oh man, I really loved the events after I was done with them. And I really loved like spending so much time with all my friends training. Like I just really loved the process of training, and it just made me so happy, like being in the gym and going through it. And I think that's what made it easy for me, is because I just really enjoyed the process.
Gotcha. That's cool. That's good. I think I beat myself up way too much, so I didn't really enjoy it. And what do you feel like what was the most challenging part of it?
I put a lot of pressure on myself. I put a lot, like, going to the games, I mean, if anyone that didn't know me would see how I was before going to the games, they'd be like, oh my gosh, she is going to fall apart. But that's just like part of who I was. I would just be like so nervous because I put a lot of pressure on myself. But as soon as the clock would start, like it would all go away, and I just felt like I would be laser focused, and I would just get nervous because I knew what I had to do, and I knew what I expected of myself, and I was going to make sure that I did that, and it just made me nervous. So I would say that was probably one of the hardest parts. I loved competing, but I also like hated it. So it was just like a mental battle for me each time.
And have you like actually decided to fully like retire?
No, I want to have another baby. So I want to do that, but I can't see myself stepping away. I really like it, but I'm not sure if it's going to be CrossFit though. Something else. Whatever I feel like at the time is really piquing my interest, because you'll put a lot of time and training and thought and stuff into whatever you're really into.
Yeah.
If that's still CrossFit at that time, then yeah, I'm going to come back as hard as I can.
Yeah.
But if it's something else, then I'm going to do that with everything I got. So I'm not exactly sure.
Do you have any ideas of maybe what that would be, or no?
I've thought about doing like Spartan races, obstacle course stuff like that, because
yeah, you're good at that.
Good at that.
Yeah.
So I thought about doing that because I mean, it's really, really fun for me. Like I love it.
Yeah.
So.
That's cool. And are you pregnant right now?
No.
Okay.
I wish I was, but I'm not.
Okay.
I'm thinking about knocking him out real fast, but it's a process. Like, you want your body to be healthy when you get pregnant, and I want to have the best pregnancy possible. So I'm really working on getting my body to be as healthy as possible so that I can have another perfect little baby.
Okay. And so what does that look like then, getting yourself as healthy as possible?
So honestly, it's really hard for me, but it might sound really easy for other people, but you have to like not do a lot of working out. It's and I mean more than like the average. I'm not talking like, yeah, I go to the gym every day and I do small workouts. It's like I have to do like yoga and body movements. I'm not supposed to lift a lot of weights. I'm not supposed to run 3 or 4 miles a day like I want to. A lot of walking, just like stuff that would like make your body softer, calmer. So your womb thinks that it's ready to produce life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Zen.
Very zen, very zen. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, let's talk about that transition. First off, like how, I mean, I don't even know really where to start. Like, how did you ease your way into it? I mean, are you following programming kind of like to do that, or?
No, I'm not. I was with my first, when I got pregnant with my first. Now I'm just kind of repeating that. I am going and seeing like my doctor, my naturopath doctor, who kind of just like checks my blood work and make sure like my hormones and everything is right. And I'm working with a doctor there, but I'm not doing any programming. I kind of know what to do. I've been doing it for a while. I feel like I have it down pretty well.
Okay. So like no gym.
Well, technically I would go to a gym, but since everything's crazy right now,
oh yeah,
really, I have been going like once every Saturday. And I'll do just easy stuff. But I'm not perfect because sometimes I get in there and I'm just like, oh, I just want to like lift some weights or something. And I'll do like some squats or maybe some easy lunges with dumbbells, and that's okay. He said it's okay. Just I can't get excessive with it, you know?
Yeah. And I think that it sounds like, because your goal that is so important to you to get healthy, to have a baby, there's a very like it's always in your mind, I'm assuming, right? Just like how the CrossFit Games are always in your mind, like this is what I'm training for. And so maybe would you say that because, hey, I know that I'm doing this for the baby, that that's what's allowed you to be okay with letting go of that, like, you know, lifting weights and going hard?
I would say with Boston, when I switched gears to start trying to get ready for him, it was a lot harder than this time.
I bet.
Like, I literally went to the CrossFit Games in August, and right after there, like, did a 180 and was like, okay, I can only do yoga and walking. Like, that's what I was told from my coach, and I was just like, what? Like, how am I gonna do that? I can't do that. But then I realized like how bad I want that goal. It's just like the CrossFit Games. Like, I all of a sudden switched and I was like, you know what? I want this so bad. I'm gonna have to do it. And people are like, you don't have to do anything. You basically just sit around and hardly do anything. And I'm like, that is hard for me.
Yeah.
Because I was so trained in going hard every single day.
Yeah.
So I was also used to eating.
That's right.
So when your activity drops super low, and all of a sudden, it took a while for my body to realize that I didn't require that much food anymore. I was still super hungry.
Yeah, it hadn't caught up yet.
Still super hungry, and I wanted to eat more, and the thing is, like, I didn't want to not eat, you know, so I had to slowly transfer my macros down to where my output was. And that was also really tough because I wasn't used to eating like that. I was used to just putting as much in as I could get because I needed it. So that was a really hard transition too.
Did you end up gaining a good amount of weight from that?
I feel like I gained some weight, and then once it leveled out, then it came back down.
Okay.
It was kind of like a transition.
Yeah.
The coach was telling me that I needed to gain a little bit of weight,
The body fat. Yeah.
so that I could get my period to be super consistent. And that goes with being less lean. So, I did, but kind of on purpose.
Right. It had to be. You had, like, that's that's different, you know?
But as soon as I got pregnant, then my body fat actually it dropped down a little bit more. My hormones and everything was like moving fast.
Yeah. It's a great reset.
Yeah, totally. And then as I started to gain weight through my pregnancy, I only felt like I gained a little bit of extra, like that last month. Lots of water weight. I ended up gaining a total of 35 pounds in pregnancy, which my doctor said was pretty average, and it was great. I did the whole thing.
Okay.
Just easy stuff, but it was good.
How did you, so, you know, cause like that mindset part is the hardest part, right? Obviously, but, so how, like, did you do anything in particular to sort of give yourself permission to relax, to slow down the mind, to turn it off, to shut it down, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I had a lot of extra time to contemplate all those things. Even right now, I mean, luckily I have a little boy to like take up a lot of my time, because when I didn't have him and I was trying to get him, from training 8 hours a day to now I go on multiple walks, and I had a lot of time to just think, and I tried to get a lot of sunlight and be outside, because that helps with your mood, I feel like. And I had a lot of time to just sit there and think about my goals and like what I'm trying to do now, and just find peace of where I am now. But it's really hard because you see your competitors gearing up for another year or another competition, and it's weird. It's like you feel this inside. You're just like, oh my gosh, like I gotta start training. It's just like it's like a feeling inside. You're just like, oh my gosh, like I'm committing to having this baby, because if I'm not committed to it, I have to start training right now.
Yeah.
In front of me, you know? So
it's like, I better be making the most out of what I'm doing. So it's like you literally shifted all that training from like actual physical training to almost now like training to be chill.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you legit have to train to be chill. It takes a lot of willpower, because so many times I wanted to go to the gym and do stuff. And luckily my coach was there to make sure I did it, you know, and I'd go and he'd be like, okay, well, you can just get on the bike and like pedal. And I'd just be like, I remember I showed up like 2 weeks after the games, and he's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I just want to be here.
Yeah.
Like, I just wanted to be there and like be involved, and it was
your home.
It is. I just wanted to be at the gym, so I'd go there and I'd just like walk on the treadmill and just like watch, and just it's very tough to make that decision. And then when I got pregnant, all of a sudden I felt all this fulfillment, like, yes, like I'm doing something. I'm I'm literally creating a life in me. And it got a lot easier after I got pregnant, because then I felt a sense of just like, what's the word? Like fulfillment is the only word I can really think of. Just like I was doing what I wanted to do, and I was getting that goal, would be a good way to say it too. And I was just really happy. I was super happy. And then I had him in September. So the games was happening right before I had him. And I thought I was going to be like super sad that I wasn't there and like, oh man, but I wasn't. I was just like so happy that I was where I was.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, I have this little guy in my stomach and he's about to be here. And I was just like, this was like the best decision. Like, I guess like fitness is so important to me, but having a family, and like you said earlier, like I've always been pretty family oriented, and having him just like made that so much more clear to me that this is what's the most important in my life. And I was finally doing that. Last year of CrossFit, I was starting to feel like, man, I really want to have kids. Like, I don't want to push this off anymore, but I also love this so much. It's so hard to stop. So it was just like, I finally was like, oh, I just have to do it.
Yeah.
So.
And it's cool because it sounds like you just had a really good team around you, and you shifted your focus, and you did what an athlete does, right? Like they just stay committed to the course. They do, and hopefully enjoy every minute of it. And, but yeah, I mean, that's rewarding in itself in a completely, different way. So, and so, like after you had the baby, so what is your, like, or I guess even now I guess now, what does your diet look like? How are you, like, do you find it easy to stay fit, stay lean, even without training so much, or do you struggle with it?
You know what? I struggle with it. It's hard for me. I've always had a sweet tooth. I always want to have those sweet snacks. I have to definitely put my mind to it to stay on a healthy track. And I'm very like, I can be very like all or nothing. It's like my personality. I'm like all in, or I'm like, I'm going to eat that whole box of cookies kind of thing. I have a very like personality that's like, I'm super dedicated. And I think that's what makes me good at like doing something like CrossFit. Like I can be so dedicated. I ain't messing up at all. Or I can be like, okay, I'm going to do this, but I've never really been like that with training. I mean, I've never been on the opposite side where I'm like, I never not feel like going to the gym. That usually comes out in my food. It's like I'm either all in, or I'm like, I'm eating some crap tonight. But right now, I think it can be harder to stay in better shape right now because I can't go to the gym and work really hard. Like it's mostly like my physique is made up from what I eat.
Yeah. You're not using exercise to create a deficit.
Exactly.
So it has to be low cal. Yeah.
Exactly. And I can't have it be too low cal because I still want my body to be feel like it's getting everything that it needs so that it's in a safe place to have a baby. So my diet has to be very careful because right now it's very easy for me to want to be like, okay, I'm going to cut some calories today because I ate a little too much yesterday. So I want to do that, but I have to be careful. It's just like it's very tricky. It's not something that you can just decide to like drop 5 pounds in a week. Like if I want a couple pounds, like I have to do it very gradually so that it's really, really, really healthy.
Yeah, so it doesn't stress out the system. So it sounds like maybe well, I mean, already that you were practicing, is it an intuitive approach of, hey, like maybe like do you check in and just kind of see if you're hungry and just be more intuitive about things?
Yeah, I mean, I have macros right now.
Okay.
That I know where I need to be at. And then I check in with them every couple of weeks to like make sure I'm still like eating about the same, because that can slowly drift up and down easily. And now being a mom, like it's hard sometimes to remember to take care of yourself. I'm constantly making sure my little guy is eating every so often, and I've definitely had days where I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't ate for like almost 5 hours now. Like, what am I doing? And because I'm not exercising as much, I feel like my body isn't like, yo, you're hungry. Like, I don't get hangry as much. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Because you're not stimulating that metabolism.
Yes. So right now I try to go on lots of walks or runs. I still do runs in the morning. I run with the jogging stroller. And I go to the gym and I do a lot of body weight movements. I still do like CrossFit workouts, but with body weight movements.
Okay. Good.
And so my food kind of reflects the day that what I did in that day.
Right. If you get a potato or not, or something like that. Yeah. Okay.
So it kind of changes. It's definitely not like, here's a food template of what you need to eat for one day, and now you're going to do that for the whole week.
Yeah.
Luckily, I have enough experience with all the different diet changes throughout my training that I can do that, because it would be really hard. I would definitely have to pay someone to make my diet every day.
Do you find certain things, like when you do certain things, it helps your hunger, it helps take away your hunger, makes you feel more at peace? Like, do your walks help you do that? Or maybe doing things with the family, or anything that you notice that you can kind of put the two together?
Yeah. Right now, my husband and I are doing something that I really like. In the evenings when the sun's like kind of starting to go down, we'll go out and we'll put the little guy in the jogging stroller, and he will get on his bike, and Taya, my daughter, she'll get on her bike, and they'll like ride around, and I'll like jog and walk with Boston. And it's like a really nice evening activity that like gets you out of the house, and like honestly you just feel like so much better after you get back in. You're just like, oh, okay, not only did I exercise, we got outside, we had family time, all 3 in 1.
Yeah.
And you come back in, and you just, anyway, it takes away time that you could be like, man, I'm bored, I'm gonna go look
about food.
Fridge, So I really like that evening little workout that boosts your system. That's usually pretty slow at night. It's slow down. And I don't know, I've been really liking that. I also do the same thing when I first get up in the morning. Get my body moving and woke up.
Cool. Do you have like something that, I guess that's probably what you do every single day, that sort of just kind of sets you in motion, gets you making good decisions, aligns you with the goal that you're after?
Yeah. And if I have a really good breakfast, I try to do this every day, and I have my vitamins set up and ready for me in the morning. I have a cup of vitamin C that's sitting there ready for me to drink. I have my seed cycling shake that I drink every single morning, like all ready for me in the morning. So that when I get up, I can do those 3 things just like it's a routine.
Yeah.
And I eat Boston, and it starts my day off on like a super healthy path. So then my next meal, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna eat something good. And it helps you. So by the time you get at night and you're like, okay, I've ate great this whole day.
Yeah.
I really want to mess this up with some crap. No, I'm gonna go on a bike ride. or I'm going to go spend some time with my family. I'm going to do stuff that doesn't make me think about sweets.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So I feel like that helps me a lot.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're just going to take a really quick break. Just so you know, every day I post some really awesome info on how women can get better results to getting lean in the kitchen and in the gym. So be sure to check me out on Instagram at natalie.newhart to take all of my unique secrets and start applying them today. All right, let's get back to the show.
Do you still feel like when you work out, do you feel like you have fun with it? Or is it hard for you to have fun with it?
Oh no, I definitely still have fun with it. When I get to go work out, I get so excited. I'm just like, yes, especially now because I have a baby now. And so my workouts are a lot harder to do. Sorry, that's my dogs. My workouts are a lot harder to do, you know, like I'll have Boston at the gym in his little walker and he's like chasing me around and I'm trying to get my stuff done.
Oh yeah.
And so when my husband or watches him or he's napping and I get to go on my run or whatever, it's like amazing. I feel so happy. I put my earphones in, I get to space out my own brain and just go do whatever. Sometimes I do workouts right here in my living room because of this whole pandemic. And I turn the music on and I just feel so happy when I work out. I'm glad I feel that way, but people probably think that's a little weird, but I love it.
I think when you're unable to work out the way you want to, you really appreciate what you can do then, you know, versus when you're training 8 hours a day, then it becomes like a chore.
Well, you know when I felt that the most is after I had Boston and I had so many restrictions on what I could do training wise. And it was a lot harder than when I was pregnant, because when I was pregnant, I was like, oh, I'm protecting my baby. But when he was out and now I was just being restricted because I was waiting for my body to heal.
Yeah.
A lot harder because I was like, oh my gosh, I feel good. Like, I just want to go hard again. I've been waiting so long to like get a really hard workout in where I'm just like on my back and just like exhausted. Yeah. It was a lot harder then, but it's all a process. There's so many different phases of life and what you go through. And I just try to enjoy each one, and just every part of life comes with something that you're not going to like probably. So you just got to enjoy the ride. And so that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah. You've always been a good representation of that. How do you feel like, we're getting close to the end. So how do you feel like you balance your family life with your gym life so well? You know, like when it's competing, like do you have a system like, hey, you know what, this time is family time, or like this time is workout time, or, you know, how do you make sure that you keep that balance of making sure you still live, but you're not, you know, and you're not spending all the time in the gym, you know, when you're training, or even like when you just want to work out just to look good, right? How do you find that?
Well, for me, I would spend my hours that I needed to in the gym, but some days, you know, I'd have my daughter come or my husband bring my daughter, and they'd all kind of hang out, watch me do my workouts. So in between my stuff, I could be hanging out with them. And that would be kind of on the weekends, we do stuff like that. At night when I'd come home, my focus would completely switch to them. Okay. Once my workouts were done, my workouts were done. And I'd come home, spend time with them, do recovery stuff, you know, that I needed. But I'd get her involved, get my husband involved. I would, you know, let them try some of the recovery stuff I was doing. When I'm at home, I don't know, I looked forward to seeing them too, and they were part of my recovery. They made me happy, they gave me peace, I felt relaxed, they gave me love, and I felt like that really helped me to not constantly be, sorry, not constantly be thinking, hey, Bear, shh, buddy, shh. Hey, shh. To not constantly be thinking about CrossFit.
Mm-hmm.
You're constantly thinking about CrossFit, all the things that you need to work on. It exhausts your brain and it makes you tired.
Mm-hmm.
And I think coming home and having my family there to completely distract me and to make me think about having to take care of them, cooking them dinner, taking care of their needs, it made me stop thinking about myself and help me to be able to not exhaust myself with all the things I need to work on still.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It gave my heart and my head a rest from CrossFit and helped me to do service for them, which kind of helped us both.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I really think my family, which a lot of people would look at family and be like, oh my gosh, that's just stuff that's going to take away from your training. You have to take care of all these other people. How are you going to focus on yourself? Well, I didn't see it that way.
Yeah, it probably helped you.
I see it as them helping me and giving me love and giving me a break from something that I didn't want 24/7. And in the end, I knew that my family was going to be more important to me than CrossFit. And I wasn't about to let my family suffer for something like that.
Yeah. I think I really, really look up to you because you are just very clear on what you want, what's important to you. And you are very good at like managing your time. You're like, okay, these are the things that are important to me. And when I go to the gym, it's gym time and I just do this. And I also think that like your programming, having faith in your programming and trusting that, like you just tell me what to do and I'm just going to do it 100%. And then you leave that there and then you go to family and you just give them your 100%. And you've just been really good at creating those boundaries and you can just see it in you can just see that in you. And it's not something that everybody can do, but I think it's because you know what's important to you. And that's what makes that happen so well. And like the reason why you enjoy going to the family and seeing them as recovery is because that's what you focus on. That's what you think of when you think of them. Whereas other people might see family as stress, a burden.
Yes.
And so that's really cool. That's really cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll just finish with like two kind of short little questions. So let's just go your favorite low calorie treat. So when you are trying to maybe tighten things up and you want something that's low calorie, what's your go-to treat?
Honestly, man, that's tough because I'm the kind of person that I don't really look at low calorie treats as a treat.
Okay.
Like my coach would tell me, like, if you feel like you really have to have something, he's like, you can have a square of a piece of a chocolate bar or something. Mm-hmm. And then I'm not joking. I don't know what it was about that, but I could just have a square and it would like
trigger you.
Just take that and just make it go away. And all of a sudden I was like, oh man, I'm good.
Oh,
like that little piece of chocolate would like take that craving and fulfill it.
Gotcha.
And it got to the point where he's like, just give yourself one every night. You know you're going to get it. And it's something to look forward to. And it helped me a lot. I could take that one little square and just savor it and then go to bed and just be like, I'm good. And that tiny little square of chocolate wasn't going to hurt all the hours of training that I was putting in, know? So he was smart with that because if I tried to do, like one time I tried to do a bowl of like non-fat yogurt with a little scoop of almond butter, a little bit of blueberries. I think one time I put like peanut butter powder in there, something like that. Anyways, I was making like a little parfait kind of thing at night as my treat. But that parfait started to get like bigger and bigger and bigger because it was so good and I just wanted to eat more and more of it. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
It's all in moderation. You just got to keep things under control. And I feel like that little piece of chocolate really worked for me. And I'm sure everyone else has things that work for them, but that worked for me.
Okay. And what is your favorite, like high cal treat? Like if nothing, you know, you weren't worrying about tracking food or anything, what's your go-to food favorite?
Oh, cookies. I love chocolate chip cookies like so much.
Okay.
Milk, it's my favorite.
What kind?
Chocolate chip.
Oh, no, yeah, but crunchy or soft?
Oh, soft. And I like to dip it in milk.
Oh, damn. Okay. So like homemade cookies.
Yes, like warm out of the cookies.
You know what cookies are really good? I think it's Costco that makes them, but like they're like this size and they're like small, like chocolate chip cookies that they're like soft. Yeah.
You need to try crumble cookies. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
Oh man, it's like a company that just makes cookies, and they're like these ginormous, round, soft cookies, and every week they have different flavors.
Uh-huh.
Pretty good. When I was pregnant, my husband would bring like some of those home, and he'd be like, and I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing to me?" But they were like so good.
Oh, dangerous, dude. Dangerous stuff.
Oh, for real. Very.
Crazy. Awesome, Tennil. All right, girl. Well, that's been super fun to really catch up with you and hear what's going on. And just it's, you know, you're just a real inspiration in just helping people, you know what, like just know what you want, you know, and you know, set those boundaries and make sure that you're managing your time and leveraging your time in a way where, you know, you're taking care of yourself, but you're still prioritizing the things that are important to you. So
I appreciate that. Yeah, it is very important to me to have a very balanced life.
Yeah, we can, that you can tell, and we can all learn from you. And so where can people find you? Where can they follow you?
I have an Instagram.
Okay.
It's Tennil_Reed.
Okay.
I also have Facebook and TikTok, but I don't use those. I mean, I don't use them a lot. You can message me on there and I will see it, but mostly you can get to me through Instagram.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, that's where we can find you, and hopefully you keep posting on there so we can follow your journey, and maybe there's a Spartan race or something in the future, or maybe CrossFit Games. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Awesome, girl. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on here, and thank you guys for watching another episode. We'll see you guys on the next one.